Now, bear with me. I really enjoyed this book. I'm going to be reading the rest of his series or her series. I don't know. Thiabit Masseuse. I don't know how to say it, but it's pretty cool. Master Your Emotions, a practical guide to overcoming negativity. And let's see here. And bad behavior. What is that? And better manage your feelings. Mastery Book Series 1. Okay, so I'm just going from the beginning. I might have talked about this before. Let's see. Oops. What just happened here? Thank you very much for hanging on with me. I got the first highlight is a quote by John Milton. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell a hell of heaven. I think that's so true. It's our perception or the way we have self-talk on the inside that makes a good thing good or a bad thing bad. Or just pissed off. Someone pulls in front of you, you might not even notice. Or you could same exact thing happens to somebody else, and they're just cussing out the window, flipping a bird. It's crazy. So that was on page 6. We'll go to page 24. Loneliness is not cured by human company. Loneliness is cured by contact with reality, by understanding that we don't need people. Anthony DeMello is another quote that they have. Okay, so why problems don't exist? If we go one step further and objectively look at reality, we can say that problems don't exist. Here's why. What you don't focus on doesn't exist. A problem only exists when you give it your attention. From your mind's perspective, what you don't give any thought to doesn't exist. Let's take a hypothetical example. Imagine you lost your legs. If you accept that fact immediately and refuse to give it any thought, there will be no problem and thus no mental suffering. You would simply be living in reality. Of course, that's usually not what happens. A problem only exists in time. A problem can only exist in the past or in the future. And where do the past and future exist? In your mind. To acknowledge a problem, you must use your thoughts, and thoughts exist in time, not in the present moment. A problem needs to be labeled as a problem to actually exist. A problem exists only when you interpret a situation as being a problem. Otherwise, there is no problem. This concept may be hard to grasp at first, but it's fundamental theory. Okay, so failing to exercise when you feel bad is like explicitly not taking an aspirin when your head hurts. It's talking about the benefits of exercising. So it's pretty cool in chapter 2. Oops. Where do we go here? So when it comes to mastering your emotions, make sure exercising is part of your toolbox. Your thoughts define who you are and create your reality. That's why you should channel your thoughts toward what you want, not what you don't want. As the success expert Brian Tracy says, the key to success is to focus our conscious mind on things we desire, not things we fear. I love being confident. Some example powerful affirmations. I love being confident. I am independent of the good or bad opinion of others. I am beneath no one, and no one is beneath me. I love you. Add your name and say it while looking into your eyes in the mirror. I love you, Thibault. Awkward, isn't it? Well, it'll work. It's powerful. Thank you. I've noticed that when I feel demotivated, decluttering my desk, cleaning my room, or reorganizing my files on my computer often gives me a boost of motivation. Another way to see your emotions is as the clothes you wear. What emotional clothes are you wearing right now? Are they clothes of excitement, depression, sadness? Bear in mind, tomorrow or a week from now, you will likely be wearing different clothes. In of itself, an event or a thought has no power to alter your emotional state. What generates emotions is the way you choose to interpret the event or thought. Powerful. The fact is, your subconscious is already programmed to help you deal with life. Your subconscious ensures you don't accidentally forget to breathe, keeps your heart beating, and regulates your body temperature, among millions of other things. It doesn't need additional beliefs to function well. Neither does it need to store emotions. In his book, The Sedona Method, Hale Dwoskin explains there are 3 different ways to release your emotions as they arise. You can let them go when you experience negative emotions. You can consciously choose to release them rather than repressing them or clinging to them. Allow them to be here. You can allow them by acknowledging their existence without clinging to them, or you can welcome them. You can accept them and have a closer look at them to discover what the core of these emotions are. Conditioning your mind to experience more positive emotions. Try to see that a thought about a person or event is merely a thought about that person or event. It is the thought about them that makes you feel the way you do. To change the way you feel, change the way you think. Try to see that. Oh, yeah, we already did that one. Sorry about that. You are what you think about most of the time. For thousands of years, mystics have told us we are the result of our thoughts. Buddha allegedly said, "What you think, you become." The essayist and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "We become what we think about all day long." While Mahatma Gandhi said, "A man is but the product of his thoughts." In his classic book, As a Man Thinketh, which I will be doing again, James Allen wrote, "Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect in the material conditions of his life. Men imagine that thought can be kept secret, but it cannot. It rapidly crystallizes into habit, and habit solidifies into circumstance." John Allen, As a Man Thinketh. It is open source. It's been a long time since he published that. Your thoughts activate certain emotions, and these emotions in turn generate more thoughts. And in turn, these thoughts and emotion then feed each other. Thoughts generate emotions, and emotions dictate your actions. If you feel you don't deserve a promotion, you won't ask for it. If you believe a man or woman is out of your league, you won't ask him or her out. Thoughts and your emotions determine your future. Humans possess a power no other living beings have: their imagination. We can use our thoughts to manifest things and turn the invisible into the visible. And then page 89. Interestingly, people are often addicted to their story, even the negative ones, and are unable to let go of the why because they are fundamentally flawed, will never be happy because insert your story here, aren't worthy of love, aren't never going to make it, and will never get married, and so on. I can guarantee you are addicted to a story. Now we'll discuss how you can condition your mind to experience more positive emotions. After that, we'll see how you can deal with these negative emotions as they arise. You can choose the emotions you want to experience. Put it simply, the more you experience an emotion, the easier it becomes to generate. Put it simply, the more you experience an emotion, the easier it comes to generate. Easier it comes to you. Write down what you want. Take a pen and paste the paper and write what I want at the top of the page. Then write down anything you can think of that excites you. Actually, that's a good idea. Really suggest doing that. When you actually use handwriting, it goes to your subconscious brain. There is a thing called handwriting analysis, and it isn't wacky. It's not some voodoo. It actually is the subconscious mind taking over and showing in evidently. So as you write what I want, it'll help you vividly envision your goals and what you want, and help bring the secret of the power of now into your reality. Let's go to page 93. Vividly envision your ideal day. What would you eat for breakfast? How would you spend your day? With whom would you spend your day? What would you do in the evening? Where would you live? How would you feel? If you want to have more confidence in your ability to achieve your goals, visualize yourself as having already accomplished them and feel good about it. Practice developing a sense of certainty. Commit to your vision in your mind. Each time you visualize your goal, give the energy of commitment to it. Now it's going to happen. Bless your problems. Thank your problems. Understand they are here for a reason and will serve you in some way. And then we'll go to page 111. For instance, Alice Sumner had every reason in the world to feel hopeless. She was imprisoned in a concentration camp during World War II and didn't know how long she had left to live. She nevertheless found joy. As she recalls, I was always laughing. We were lying on the floor with my son and he saw me laughing. How can a child not laugh when the mother laughs? Alice Summer. Sommer. Sommer. We discuss in greater depth how different emotions work. Keep in mind these two models: above, below the line, and fear-based and love-based actions. This simple exercise will help you accept a compliment. Whenever someone compliments you, say the following: "Thank you." That's it. There is nothing simpler. No thank you, but thank you too, or it wasn't a big deal. Simply say thank you. Whenever a belief you're strongly attached to is attacked or challenged, you'll experience an emotional reaction. Oh, I know that for sure. Most people believe a certain situation can be stressful. The truth is, stress doesn't exist outside of yourself, and therefore no situation can be stressful in itself. Yet my guess is you experience stress on a regular basis, and probably more often than you would like to. Stress alone is responsible for tens of thousands of deaths each year. Stress does more harm than many diseases, and leaves countless families grieving the loss of a loved one. This is why it is essential you take action steps towards reducing your stress levels. Meditate with me at mindandme.net. Stress. When you're 20, you care about what everyone thinks. When you're 40, you stop caring what everyone thinks. And when you're 60, you realize no one was ever thinking about you in the first place. I thought that was an interesting thing. was talking that people don't really. You live with yourself 24/7. You incorrectly assume, often unconsciously, people think about you significantly more often than they actually do. In fact, for the most part, people don't care about you. Well, it may sound depressing, it's actually liberating. It means you don't have to worry so much about what people think of you. If you base your self-worth on what people think of you, you'll always be at the mercy or the approval of others. What will happen if they suddenly disapprove of you? Unfortunately, no amount of external approval will compensate for a lack of self-approval. What people think of you is none of your business. The point is, people do what they can with what they have based on who they are and how much they've been conditioned. They make tons of mistakes as well. We all do. It's part of being human. One of the most ridiculous things we try to do as human beings is to want to change the past. What happened in the past was supposed to happen because it did happen. Now the question is, what are you going to do about it? So I thought this was kind of interesting. Jealousy can help you find what you really want. This is going to page 158. Jealousy can let you know you're on the wrong path and can help you find out what you really want. For instance, in her book Quiet, Susan Cain explained that she would often feel jealous of her friends who were writers or psychologists. Interestingly, even though she was a lawyer at the time, she didn't feel jealous of successful lawyers, as her lawyer friends often did. This led her to realize she wasn't made to be a lawyer. As a result, she changed her career and became a writer. Oh, here's a good one. Even worse, you may often compare yourself with several other people. You look at areas in which they are successful, and then you look at your own life to see how well you compare. Of course, not very well. How could you compete with the combined strengths of several people? Talking about comparing yourself against somebody else, and it's not an apples to apples situation. Why not compare your today's self with your yesterday's self? The fear of doing something new is often a sign you should go ahead and do it anyway. As Benjamin Franklin said, some people die at 25 and aren't buried until 75. People often say that motivation doesn't last. Well, neither does bathing. That's why we recommend it daily. Zig Ziglar. Remember, if every single second of the day is a struggle, you're probably not doing what you're supposed to do. You have strengths, and your job is to find them. Pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Say hi to your friends and family for me, and please share this post. I'll be doing more positive, upbeat podcasts from now on, and I'll see you later. Hi there, this is Brian Carpenter and the Church of the Immortal Self. We're going to go into changing directions here, and I'm going to be reading self-help books and giving you little snippets of what they're about. First, let's talk about the book How to Master Your How to Set Goals with Kaizen and Ikigai. So let's see here. Kaizen is a term that the Japanese coined after the management team of the U.S. The U.S. management team helped rebuild Japan. See, when World War II happened, there was no way to purchase victory. So President Eisenhower hired a management team that taught we make a small 1% improvement here, a 1% improvement there, and a 1% improvement here. And anywhere you can find a small improvement, that's where you go. You just step one little small step at a time. And so when you start pushing away important tasks, your path in life becomes a destination to nowhere. It's one of the quotes on page 16. Doubt and fear help keep your ancestors alive and encourage them to stick to familiar territories and ways of doing things. But overcoming these innate doubts is what led us to become the species we are today. Let me keep going. So Hanzi is the art of self-reflection, temet nonce, or to know thyself. Let's see here. Socrates expounded upon the phrase when he offered that the unexamined life is not worth living. In modern times, the Dalai Lama has written, we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace within ourselves. What was your original goal? What efforts did you make towards this goal? What was the outcome of your efforts? What were you expecting? Why didn't you get what you wanted? What were the wrong decisions you made? And why did they seem rational at the time? These questions will help to dredge up an awareness of the mistakes in your past. As Jonathan Lockwood Huey has said, forgive others, not because they deserve forgiveness, but because you deserve peace. That's really good. I like that one. It is helpful to compare yourself not to others, but to the man you were yesterday. What's the worst problem you ever tackled? You can look back and take inspiration from your past self. You have faced your fears and worries plenty of times previously. Remember the most difficult scenario and how you survived that. Even if you felt worse at the moment, it all passed and you all came out of it okay. With Kaizen, there is no need to believe in the impossible today because we use Kaizen to take little steps to achieve the impossible tomorrow. Another quote that I kind of remember now is that we all overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 10 years. Merely joining a gym is not the goal. The physical activity is. A failing marriage, an old grudge with a family member, frustrating coworkers, and other relationships suffer and fester for two reasons. First, because you never addressed them properly and prefer to not bring up your grievances. And second, because your own interpersonal skills are not polished enough to achieve mental resolution with the issue. You must come to terms with the reality of constant change and evolution in every relationship you create. And in the relationships, maintain a balance of I and we. The we describes the strength of your relationship with the person. The I describes your ability to maintain your own identity in the relationship. Oh, this one's a long one. How to fight fairly. Disagreements, conflicts, and fights are a part of all relationships. The scale your battles may change, but you can't escape disagreements altogether. So the best way to approach a conflict is to learn the art of fighting fairly. Fairness in a disagreement is possible only if you fight to resolve things and not to win an argument. A healthy and fair fight requires love, respect, and dignity from both sides, so that the result comes to a mutual conclusion. How can you achieve this? Unfortunately, we often tend to feel more at ease and get angry faster in our closest relationships. That's why our Fights with spouses, parents, and friends can rapidly take on a serious turn. The Kaizen approach to relationships is about building a habit of expressing your love and respect for a person, especially when you are fighting. Try filling our battles with sentences such as this: I love that you care so much about me, but you should try to understand my side too. You know how much I respect your views, but this time I don't agree with what you're saying. Imagine yourself proceeding through multiple different forms of retort. Try confidently and aggressively standing up for yourself in the face of onslaught. Try to meekly and compassionately striving to really listen to what this person is saying to you. Do they have a point at all? Perhaps their anger is warranted. So there's a little what is the first small step you can do today? As clearly as should be clear by now, the first question in Kaizen is always the same. What is the first small step you can take today? Wealth typically grows with slow, incremental steps. We're talking about money now. But the most important thing is consistency and gradual improvement. Just one more thing that I didn't mention. Lingxi. With Lingxi, we learned that our undesirable position in life is typically not the result of only one problem. Rather, thousands of little mistakes we make in life eventually add up and ultimately lead to a calamitous failure, causing us to experience Lingxi, death by 1,000 cuts. So, of all the virtues we can learn, no trait is more useful, more essential for survival, and more likely to improve the quality of life than the ability to transform adversity into an enjoyable challenge. So as you wake each morning, try to perceive the daily grind as a blessing rather than a curse. That's the digest of how to set goals with Kaizen and Gaki, focus, cure procrastination, and increase personal productivity. Now, I had another one just after this.